So this afternoon we have 3 exciting presentations from civil society organizations that have been doing really great things in their own areas to support their membership and address issues that have been affecting their sectors and their industries. 2 of the projects being highlighted today are winners of a sub-grant that was awarded as part of our larger project, TT Civil Society Organizations for Business. And we did host a proposal writing seminar that most of the cohorts 1 and 2 attended, and this way they were able, and we gave them an opportunity to go through the whole proposal writing process and of being awarded a project. These projects were collaborative, between 2 or more CSOs to build a better business environment. Each project will now present for 10 minutes, and because we've had a longer lunch, we will not be doing the Q&A directly after each presentation, but we do ask you to please engage with the presenters and anybody else in the organization through the networking session that we're having this afternoon. First off, I would like to introduce Nicola Harvey of We Say Yes Foundation, a cohort 1 CSO who implemented in the area of youth entrepreneurship with Youth Business Trinidad and Tobago, also of cohort 1, and UE Roy Tech. Collaborations, synergies. Let us welcome to the stage Nichola as they tackle the issue, to talk more about tackling the issue of youth entrepreneurship.
Okay, good afternoon. Ms. Monica Paul, McLean Program Manager, Delegation of the European Union to Trinidad and Tobago, and to Ms. Brenda King, Co-Chair CARI Forum, EU Consultative Committee and Employers Group. Yes, I have it right. Were you on TV yesterday? How you looking different, sir? You look different. Yeah. Okay. How are you all feeling after lunch? The light's real bright in my eyes. Okay, I'm going to try to do this in 10 minutes. Do you all have a time? I can speak about an hour or more on my project, but I really want to make sure I have a time in front of me. You all look at it? Okay, good, right. Good, 10 minutes. So my name is Nicola Harvey. As they introduced me, I'm the founder, director of We Say Yes organization. And we focused on youth entrepreneurship, research, and advocacy initiative during the period July to September of 2019. And some of the beneficiaries of the project, they are here with us, and you all would have seen them outside. I'm going to speak a little bit about We Say Yes, the project itself in terms of our core partners, the research topics, the execution, measuring our successes and challenges, and sustainability of the project. All right, just a bit about We Say Yes. We Say Yes is obviously a non-profit organization that focuses on delivering youth entrepreneurship programs to at-potential youth from at-risk communities of East Port of Spain, Arima, and recently we went over to Tobago. Actually, we have extended this year, September, we got calls from Kukarit, we have Chaguanas, and some other areas outside of East Port of Spain, and they're now part of our program. We have our vision and mission, and our vision is to nurture empowered entrepreneurial youth who are confident, competent, caring, creative achievers, contributors, and leaders. And we do this through non-traditional education and exposure to entrepreneurship concepts, skills, attitudes, and opportunities accordingly. We pride ourselves on, yes, we are a non-profit organization, but we pride ourselves on adopting for-profit practices to ensure that we are very transparent and we are accountable for all of our actions as well as funding given to us. We Say Yes, just so that you understand the program, it's a 6-year maximum program. Actually, those children don't want to leave. So they're there longer than that. And they say, Auntie Nikki, and every time we tell them it's time you graduated, they say no. So we have to add on a new level to our program. So we have 4 levels, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels. We start them off at the age of 5, straight on to 16. Right? So they could come in at 5 to 16 and they start off at what we call the beginners, and we call them kidspreneurs and youpreneurs. And we expose them to about 1.5 years of basics of entrepreneurial skills and competencies and modules accordingly. Subsequent to that, we do a very basic, it's not an essay, It's not a CAPE. It's not a CXC. Very simple assessment on their intelligences, because we believe that the child should not be judged on intelligences, only IQ, that they have multiple intelligences, and therefore we do an assessment on their multiple intelligences, and then to have them select what we call in our Tappers 1, juniors, tapping into their talents and potential. They get to schedule or to go into various modules accordingly. So we're going to tap into, for now, we have science, technology, engineering, and math, creative arts, theater arts. We have word and communication as they go to the next level, nature, volunteerism, and caring. So we tap into all of their intelligences versus just a pass for Holy Name Convent or, like myself, Belmont Junior Secondary School, right? So we have beginners, then they go to juniors, Tappers 1, then we have the senior levels, they graduate, and then they go into achievers, and all of them, the 3 of them in their 3rd row, they are our achievers. So they have been in the program for more than 5 years in our program, and what we do with them in this level, we partner with institutions outside of We Say Yes to continue their development, because we know that we can't do it all, right? And therefore now we will hand them over like to YBTT, we hand them over to UE, we hand them over to Roy Tech, so they can continue on their positive trend. This is our curriculum, not gonna read it, so we have a structured program. Everything is documented so that we're able to train other facilitators. Like when we went into Tobago, Tobago provided their facilitators. We went in with our documentation. We trained them on our practices. We trained them on our modules. They were able to deliver it over the July, August. All we did was did quality assurance testing and checks on them and provided them with some funding, right? I must mention our structure, because in cohort 1, all of our facilitators stressed on the leadership, your processes, your structure. So all I want to do is highlight some of the things that we learned while we were here during cohort 1 that we implemented, we enhanced, I should say, because we had them already, right? So for us, after Dr. Ram Kisun, where is he? Is Dr. Ram Kisun or Ron? Ron Sukram, where is he? Not here? All right. After that, we went back and we revised our structure because there was some overlapping and we needed to clarify some of the roles and responsibilities in our institution. So we did that, and we now have our full board, our 1 advisory. Ron said we had too many advisories. And then we have chief, and we have other things happening. So all I'm doing is showcasing some of the things we have learned. We also revised our bylaws to be in sync with some of the things we wanted to do as an NGO. We could not do mutual funds, and the bank didn't want to take some money we had, where we were putting it aside for a bus that we wanted to purchase. So we had to modify our bylaws in order to ensure that we can do some of the things that we wanted to do. So we did that, bylaws completed and approved, and our core processes were already documented. We revised them again after cohort 1 training. So thank you so much, EU, for that. And we went again at the end of the particular period. Our budget, one of the key things to me coming out of the corporate world is doing budgets and ensuring we have accountability for every dollar spent. So I'm if the word I can use, if it's okay with you all, I'm very anal about every dollar that we get from every funder who will give us money. And therefore for me, even if the auditors come back and say, this is how I put it, I say, no, all. This is how we want it accordingly, all right? So don't put courses when I tell you something else. Put what we said so we could explain it to our funders when we have the opportunity to explain it. So we have our budgets, and we have budgets until 2024. Every year we do our audited financials, and we're very much up to date. Yesterday I was battling with our auditors for 2018, 2019. And we have measured how much money we budgeted versus expenditure right there. It's not showing up too clearly. Our strategic priorities for 2019-2024, we want to focus on improving our program. So every year our curriculum committee gets together and we revise our curriculum to ensure that it's in alignment with not only what is happening in the country, but also globally, what is new and current, and also what they want. Because you could develop a curriculum and they will come into your session and they'll be very bored. So therefore we need to get feedback from the youngsters and improve our program. We wanted to also we are focusing on building support systems outside, like the parent empowerment. We found for the first 5 years of our program, we found that the parents weren't as active active and as empowered as they should be. So we're going to focus some more on our parent empowerment, strengthening our corporate governance structures, and thanks to this particular workshop, we're able to do more of that, increase our funding options. Because of our involvement in different programs, we are now gaining more funders to our program, which is good. We just recently signed with Republic Bank for major sponsorship for our program for this year, so thank you. Klapner. But that doesn't come easy, y'all. That comes because you have documentation. You are submitting your financials. You can check on your successes. You have your objectives. And then you can see these are the challenges. And we have our quarterly reports accordingly that we share. The other thing is increased partnerships. Because, I don't know you all, I'm tired from time to time. And although you're fulfilling your purpose that God put you on this earth and your passion, you can't do it alone. And as NGOs, we have to learn to rely on partners who are in alignment with us. So you see, Wi-Fi, Alpha, thank you so much for partnering with us. UE Roy Tech is not here. Thank you for partnering with us. So you have to choose partners who can really help you achieve your vision. Improve visibility. For the first 3 years of our operation, so we started in 2013, we really didn't want to advertise because we were testing our program. And therefore, in testing the program, we worked on some of the challenges, some of the issues that we had, and now we are ready to do some visibility. So we're out there on our social media and everything, showcasing what the program is about. Looking beyond, we say yes. Here's what we have found. We have found after the children graduated and they are now in an achievers level like them, absolutely, there's absolutely nothing for them if they don't go into entrepreneurship. So we have to look beyond, we say yes, to ensure that we offer them opportunities because they're not going to create opportunities for our children. So therefore, we have to help in creating opportunities for them and ensuring that they stay on the straight and narrow road so that they can become the positive citizens that we envisage. So as an NGO, we have to sometimes think that it's not just of this one day, this one time, but what happens beyond our program. Good? So what we did during July and August and September and how we spent the $50,000 that we got from the EU. Our focus was on giving our young people, which is always a priority for us, giving them the opportunity to gain as much knowledge, skills, abilities as they can so that they can become anything that they so desire. So when this particular project came out, we said not for the leaders. We said, this is for the children. And therefore, we engage the young people because we don't treat them like objects. We treat them as citizens, like persons with human beings, and who has a brain and who can function accordingly and make decisions for their life. And what we did, when we assessed what we wanted to do, we said, okay, who are the best partners for us? We have a very good relationship with UE Roy Tech because they gave us free space every Saturday to implement our program. We also have a very good relationship with YBTT. And this started from the time we started our program because we knew we couldn't do it alone. And therefore, we kind of scoped the landscape and said, who are those, not vendors, but partners who are doing some of the same things we are doing? And we started partnering with them from very early. So when this project came up, I had no other choice but to also use both Roy Tech as well as YBTT. We set up our plan, so we started from our curriculum. We did most of it over the phone. All right, so we did our curriculum. We registered participants, orientation. We did our capacity building workshops. We had our field trips, report, finalized stakeholders, and we did everything within the required time. Right? The research questions now. Because we wanted to engage our young people, we had to get topics that will kind of excite them. And therefore, we looked at 3 topics that we thought would have excited them in youth entrepreneurship because the project focuses on creating improvements, so generating improvements in the business environment. So for our young people, we decided to go with 3 topics. Right? First one, after completing secondary school, what are the next steps? Support systems for youth in business. The second one was, what are the social, economic, and legal implications for changing the age group? That's the age of registering business from 18 to 16. They're coming out after 16, right? And if you're training them on entrepreneurship, why can't they not register their business? If they have ideas from as early as 5 and 6, why can't they not register? The other one, last one, was what are the best practice models with youth with ideas and adults with capital and the experience? So we felt that because we say, yes, facilitators are adults, but the youth are younger, that we should have a model going forward that will help them become the entrepreneurs that we want them to become. So we had 15 of them. We took through the process. You're now seeing your faces. 15 of them, and we divided them into 3 groups with 3 supervisors. Shadran from YBTT, myself, as well as Neil out of We Say Yes. And we supervised them during the July to September program. This was the modules they were exposed to. We had introduction to research because this is a research and advocacy project. So it was the first time when they went in, some say, oh God, what is research? I don't like that. No, it's statistics. If you see them, the first day, but by the time they left, you always see their faces at the time they left. So we introduced them to research and research methods. They did findings, looked at how to do findings, the analysis. We also looked at some advocacy to some extent, how to prepare your reports, how to present, how to finalize the report. And sometimes, listen, one of the key things I've learned in my life is if you don't create the environment for young people to flourish, they will not. And when you create the environment for them to flourish, they will. And therefore, when we think, okay, fine, they don't have the full 5 levels, they may not be good in math, may not be good in statistics. These young people prove to me differently. Just get them the best teachers, which we got from Roy Tech. Just tell them the method of teaching that we wanted to reach them and create the environment for them to learn and give them a little stipend because you need to give them an incentive. That's one of the things we learned when we went on a visit to the US. They had a lot of young people working in a project. And the one way of ensuring that they take care of their basic needs, because that's still on their minds, right? Remember the communities they come from. And therefore, we have to provide them with some financial benefits for also going through this process. So these are some of the pictures for them in action. We had a communication plan which was developed by McKessie Francis, who's now one of our scholarship graduates. He is at UWI, and he's part of the 15. He developed it, so we went to Radio Boom Champions. They were uploading social media. They were doing all the things. I just had to say, okay, when they send the plan to me, right? We visited Create Future Good because they are research for young persons, institutions. They visited the Minister of Sport and Youth Affairs because they wanted to know what support systems they have for them. We visited Artelagjac, of course. This is ILO, right, y'all? International Labour Organization. Yes? Right. And they visited several places. Sorry. Also, we invited Alpha. Alpha, you could wave your hands. Thank you so much for coming out and telling us how YFAM would advocate for their purpose. So we got a little bit of advocacy through YFAM, and I don't want to say this is one of their best facilitators, David Mohammed, who really engaged them and had them really loving how to do research, how to look at research methods, as well as not eating KFC every day. I'm not getting this moving, so you can move it up there for me. Up, pointed. Up. Okay, fine, cool. All right, so just quickly in terms of the research, how much time I have? 2 minutes, all right, good. Right, some of the summary. So for the next step, what they did is took our statements, and let me tell you something, I forget, I went to UWI how many, 20 years ago, right? I forget about hypothesis and the null, and this and that. So they reminded me of those things. So they took our statement and they came up with their hypothesis. So the first one was, youth are not aware of their next steps and support systems, which they found. Now they took their phones, they developed their own, your survey, using SurveyMonkey. I didn't have anything to do with it. They sent it out. Everything basically was done on their phone, and then the project was done via our computers. So that was youth, they're not aware. That's what they found. And I think they sent it out to 100, this one, 100 participants of your research? Right. You all can get more details outside. But their conclusion was that, based on their research analysis, youth aren't aware of their next steps and support systems available. So therefore, they are faced with challenges. This, therefore, acts as a deterrent for young persons starting a business. Our hypothesis was proven to be true. That's what they found. And the second one, the possible implications for youth pursuing business in Trinidad and Tobago, their hypothesis was changing the age of registering a business from 18 to 16 years would have positive effects on the socio-economic and legal business landscape in Trinidad and Tobago. What they found, there are only positive effects if you change it. Nothing negative. That's based on their 100-plus survey from those persons who participated. The last one, we call it the Intergenerational Model. Their hypothesis was youth with ideas can contribute positively towards adult businesses. And they found yes. According to those persons who responded, the younger generation does have a positive influence on the older generation. Therefore, it is an excellent idea to invest and develop intergenerational model between youth and adults with capital and experience. They went on to say that the young minds can develop and old minds can give mentorship and experience. You all with me? So they focus on us giving them mentorship and some level of experience and working together with them. What I need to do again? Okay, good. This is some of the research. I'm not going to go into that. I want you to go at the booth, and they can answer all the questions for you, right? Oh, God, Olia, this is when you're getting older. All right, good. Some of the research limitations, which was really good for them. Some of them said they didn't have sufficient time to do in-depth. They wanted to do more research. They loved researching so much that they wanted to do more. They had issues with their team, one particular group, and they said they now realize how hard teamwork is, right? Low number of persons. In one case, there was a low number of persons responding to their online survey. When the survey was created, mandatory questions were not developed. I think some persons skipped, so they learned how to fix that. And in addition, there was a knowledge gap between individuals who were attempting to understand the language. So they now understand that some of the language that they use in survey needs to be changed depending on the target audience. And then the group also did not meet, in some cases, the number of survey. All right, recommendations I'm going to leave because I don't have much time. All right, this is actually the end, the final, where on the 28th of September 2019, they actually graduated. And we were really fortunate to have the Minister of Education come in and witness the presentation by the young people. And he was quite surprised that this program actually existed. And he said it's a good thing for him to implement in other areas. So we have a discussion with the Minister of Education coming up soon. The children, they will be there presenting. We gave out special prizes for the leader, who actually, this one in the middle, she took control of her group when all of the team members weren't participating. So she got leader. We have the hardest working researcher, the top researchers accordingly. We also invited a young entrepreneur out of Tobago. She's 10 years of age, called Fruity Roots. If you see this young girl, all right, and we also had our Entrepreneur of the Year, Miss Isla Board, who started her business at 16, could not register it, she's now able to register it at 18. So some of the research questions are actually live things that we experience, yeah? Our budget was actually about $52,290. We spent $50,611.25. The $611.25 was covered by We Say Yes. Thank you to EU for the $50,000. What we achieved so far? All right, so for us, we had listed some of the goals for this particular projects and objectives, and we have been able to achieve, if not all, most of it. You will see 100% achieved accordingly. In some cases, 96% in this one. That's because we didn't do one of the sessions. We had 15 children attending. That's the program. On average, 14, because one or two would have stopped for one reason, not just one day, because they had some other things happening. For the educational field trips, 86% attended the field trips. The following charts will show you the behavior that we were looking at that we can't measure by numbers. The capacity, we were able to complete all the capacity building workshops. We did 4 trips, we did our 4 research projects, and the 3 groups presented accordingly. All right, this is what I wanted to show you all quickly. Now, we measured attitude change before and after. So how they felt when they went into the project and how they felt after. The blue is before, the green is after. What we have found when we measured how confident they are about advocating things in the community, we had more at the ending of the program saying they're more confident about advocating. When we asked them, can you work with teams? Well, that still stays kind of around the same measurement. When we asked them, what about presenting your views? Majority of them now felt more confident and very confident at the ending of the project. Look at the green bars. Similarly, being part of the project, more of them felt confident. Little change in this particular one because they were already engaged in the project. The last one, I feel confident that I can be a positive influence and make a positive change in my school. You see now, most of them, if not 100%, are between confident and very confident, when before we had some of them saying somewhat confident and not confident accordingly. So for us, we think that this project has indeed achieved the objectives that we had set out to and have been able to change some of the attitudes and build some of the skills that we wanted to sustain the program. We are going to continue some of the things that came out of this program. Actually, yesterday, YBTT and myself, we were discussing the transitioning of our children, the achievers, into their program because 4 of them have business ideas that we want to now continue to develop further, and therefore we're working with them. There's a program we actually developing, which is a local global citizen, and that's expose them to global activities and initiatives taking place. And you all, just to tell you, it takes a village to raise a child, not one person, not Nicola Harvey. And therefore, we want to thank the EU, Arthur Lockjack, UE, Roytech, YBTT, TTCSO, Energy Chamber, TTMA, Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs, Create Future, International Labour Organization. And because the best, I must save the best for last, he's not there, YFAM. So let's give them a round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, EU. Thank you so much, Arthur Lockjack.